We are now sitting in the video installation Souvenirs Entomologique, Chapter 1, Odonata/Weathering Data. It's a long, complicated title. It gives homage to Jean-Henri Fabre, who was an entomologist in the end 19th century, and he researched insects in a very poetic way. That was the beginning of science as we know it today, where beings were abstracted and objectified. It is also the time where the collection of specimens and animals and bodies of insects and plants were brought to scientific institutions a lot in huge amounts. And I am very inspired by his way of thinking of other life forms as subjects of curiosity and of beings that we can learn from. I was working with natural history museums in Berlin and in Stuttgart, interested in how they not only collect insects and how they take care of their collections of millions of specimens that they host, but also how they are now digitizing the insects as part of their research. So every specimen in the collection becomes a data point. Many of them are photographed and created as like digital twins, or there's even 3D models of them. All of this is quite interesting, and it's also a way of understanding the climate crisis and the ecological crisis. But in the same time, I was pondering about what gets lost in these methods of collecting data points and the abstraction of life forms. So I created a speculative video essay where the data bank itself starts asking these questions about who are these insects, how long have they been on this planet, what could they tell us about the climate, the weather, and the toxification of environments, but also what are the knowledges and the knowledge systems that get lost if we look at everything through these technologies and through a Western lens of science. So, inspired by the process of metamorphosis, which is the radical change of body and being of insects. So, for example, the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, or the dragonfly that lives in the water becomes a flying entity. The data bank also gets inspired of just changing itself completely. So it decides to pause the monological data collection and make space for vernacular knowledge, for stories about insects, for the colonial histories of these collections, and for the inspiration that insects could give us.